The Soldier's Dream by Thomas Campbell, 1777 to 1844. Our bugles sang truce, for the night cloud had lowered, and the sentinel stars set their watch in the sky, and thousands had sunk on the ground overpowered, the weary to sleep and the wounded to die. When reposing that night on my pallet of straw, by the wolf-scaring fagot that guarded the slain, at the dead of the night a sweet vision I saw, and thrice ere the morning I dreamt it again. Methought from the battlefield's dreadful array, far, far I had roamed on a desolate track. 'Twas autumn, and sunshine arose on the way to the home of my fathers that welcomed my back. I flew to the pleasant fields traversed so oft in life's morning march when my bosom was young. I heard my own mountain goats bleating aloft, and knew the sweet strain that the corn reapers sung. Then pledged we the wine cup, and fondly I swore from my home and my weeping friends never to part. My little ones kissed me 1,000 times o'er, and my wife sobbed aloud in her fullness of heart. Stay, stay with us, rest, thou art weary and worn, and fain was their war-broken soldier to stay. But sorrow returned with the dawning of morn, and the voice in my dreaming ear melted away. Okay, this is a poem by Thomas Campbell. Thomas Campbell was a Scottish poet, and he was born in Glasgow. His father was a laird, it's like a lord, and he was, I think, the last lord of Cianan in Argyll. So he came from a family of noble Scots. His family made a lot of money selling tobacco, and Campbell himself was one of the founders of the University of London. So what's this poem about? Well, this is one of Thomas Campbell's heroic poems, his patriotic war songs, and he has produced several of these. This poem is about a soldier who dreams of home. This is a soldier who's far from his home, and there is a battle that, well, they have called a truce in the battle, and there are many dead, and he's exhausted, and he falls asleep on his bed, and he dreams of going home and being home with his friends and his children and his family, and he dreams of swearing that he'll never go back to the war. But then later he wakes up and he's back in the war, back in the reality, back in the horror of destruction. So, the soldier's dream. Our bugles sang truce. So the bugles, it's like a trumpet. For the night cloud had lowered. So the cloud of night had come down, so there was a mist. And I think this is the bugles saying, okay, it's enough fighting for today. And the sentinel stars set their watch in the sky. This is a very nice phrase. So the stars are like sentinels, like guards watching, but this is a military camp, and therefore there are guards watching, making sure that everything is safe. And thousands had sunk on the ground overpowered, and so thousands of people had just fallen to the ground. They were just they couldn't anymore. the weary to sleep, so the tired ones slept, and the wounded ones to die, so they're lying on the ground, sleeping or wounded. When reposing that night on my pallet of straw, so when I lay down on my straw pallet on my bed, by the wolf scarring fagot that guarded the slain. So I think this wolf scarring fagot, I think this is a fire. And this is a big fire to keep away the wolves, because I think this is a place where the wolves literally want to come and steal the bodies of the dead, and they have to protect the bodies of the dead from marauding wolves. Sounds awful. At the dead of the night a sweet vision I saw, and thrice ere the morning I dreamt it again. So during the night I had this wonderful vision, this wonderful dream, and I dreamt this dream various times. Methought from the battlefield's dreadful array, far, far I had roamed on a desolate track. So I thought I'd gone away from the battle, I'd gone far from the battle, and on a desolate, on a lonely road. It was autumn, and there was sunshine on the way, and sunshine arose on the way, to the home of my fathers that welcomed my back. And this road took him to where he grew up, to the house of his fathers, to the place where he was born and brought up. I flew to the pleasant fields traversed so oft in life's morning march when my bosom was young. So my spirit flew to the fields that I played in when I was young, when I was a young man. And when I was running around and living the life of a youth, I heard my own mountain goats bleating aloft. He heard the goats bleating, meh, 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 and knew the sweet strains, the sweet songs that the corn reapers sung. The corn reapers are the people cutting the corn. They're scything the corn. They are harvesting. And he knew the songs that they were singing. And he knew he was home. He knew the goats. He knew the songs of the reapers. Then pledged we the wine cup, and fondly I swore from my home and my weeping friends never to part. And we had a loving cup, a cup of wine, and I swore that I would never leave home again. I would never part from my friends. My little ones kissed me 1,000 times over. My children kissed me thousands of times, and my wife sobbed aloud in her fullness of heart, and my wife was crying. Stay, stay with us. Stay, don't go back. Rest, thou art weary and worn. Rest, you're tired, you're worn out. And fain was their war-broken soldier to stay. So fain means he wanted to stay. So their war-broken soldier, their soldier broken by war, really wanted to stay. But sorrow returned with the dawning of morn. But in the morning he woke up, and here he was back on the battlefield in the sorrow of the battle. And the voice in my dreaming ear melted away, and the voice that I was listening to, the voice of his wife saying, stay, stay, don't go back to the battle, it disappeared. So here we have one of these epic heroic poems, maybe in the in the light of Tennyson, although I think it's a little bit more touch of the romantic era. So, The Soldier's Dream by Thomas Campbell.